Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, before we begin, we like to give all praise, all glory, all honor unto
Yahawah, Basham Yahushai, Basham Yahushai.
double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who surely do rule well. As always, it's a shalom to the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
Alright, we are three of your brothers from the Heralds of YAHAWASHI. I'm coming back to you with another video, Lord, will it is edifying unto the elect. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And we wanted to get into today, right, touching on prophecy, especially given what is taking place currently in the Middle East, as that was prophesied to be the place in which YAHAWASHI would meet, right, the kingdoms of the earth, the rulers of the earth, as it's stated in if you get that, 2nd and 13 chapter, around verse, we said the great Mount, around verse 8 and 9. Right, they see him in the earth today, the kingdoms and the nations of the world gathering to do battle over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, also known as the Levant, right, which is a big area of dry land over there, mainly in Saudi Arabia, seeing biblical prophecies playing out, right?
Ready?
There you go.
In 2nd Timothy verse 3. I beheld and know that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Right, so this is also representative of what is spoken about in Revelation, the 12th chapter, right? Revelation 12 from verse 7, you could hold that to back him up quickly, right? Where Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels, and they prevailed not. Meaning the devil and his angels prevailed not. The devil, the dragon, the serpent, Satan, all of these people are really representative of who? The Edomite man who's in control of the earth today. So they, right, as we're going to go into the breakdown and give it to you all correctly, they are the ones that are set to do battle with the Lord upon his arrival, right?
You did?
No, the 2nd and verse 13.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that was seen under him.
Right, so upon the unveiling of the Son of Man, because as Isaiah 47 and the 3rd chapter lets you know, right, he's not coming back here with man's power or man's will, and as Isaiah
47 and 30.
47 and the 3rd verse to water, and as Isaiah 30 from verse 1 and Isaiah 31 from verse 1 says, to the Egyptians, a message against the Egyptians that their horses and their chariots, it is their horses and their chariots are flesh and not spirit, right? So it's a spiritual being as you're gonna get. I believe when you read verse 18, one place against another, one people against another, like going lower down as well. Right, so you get that quickly. Yeah, just bring out the point that I've been making. I think it's around verse 51 where it says one realm against another. Because that is important. It's the heavenly realm coming to meet, or the spiritual realm, let's say it like that, coming to meet the physical realm. So of course he would tremble at the appearance of YAHAWASHI, because you know the aura in which a man like Mike Tyson portrayed, or the aura in which a man like Muhammad Ali portrayed, especially Mike Tyson in his prime. His enemies were afraid of him, or his opponents were afraid of him before he even stepped it in the ring. Right? The baddest man, he even got that title as well. So what are the baddest man on the earth? When they're going to meet the greatest God, second greatest God of all time. Right? So of course they're going to tremble at his appearance, because they're going to know that Sipaya, even without him even saying anything, right? You know your father when he comes upon you when you're doing something wrong, right? He doesn't even have to ask if you're doing anything wrong. You don't have to say nothing. You just know you're going to get your ass open. Right? That's what YAHAWASHI coming to deliver. He's not going to have to say anything, right? He's not going to have to speak. And the scripture talk about him speaking unto them in his sword displeasure. Yeah, that speaking is not, him reasoning with anybody. No, that's him bringing judgment. Go ahead, you can get the one realm against another, and then you can go back up to verse 4, I believe there was.
In the book of 2nd chapter 13, reading verse 27. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, And that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war.
So you see, he not coming, which is representative of him not holding any sword or instrument of war, which he's coming with instruments of war and things that can be representative of a sword, because a sword is a destroying weapon, and the chariots are his instruments of war, right? But what he's really coming with here is weaponry from the heavenly realm. So when it says no sword, no instrument of war, by man's standard, what man wars with, right, the nuclear missiles, these tanks, the fighters, that's the submarine, YAHAWASHI is coming with greater artillery than that.
The weapons that the earth has never seen.
Weapons that the earth has never seen.
So it had nothing to liken it onto.
It has nothing to liken it onto. So it's not man's weapon, it's not a warfare with man is coming to wage here. It's a warfare, well, it's a warfare with man, but more of a trampling, let's say it like that. And they read Isaiah, the 63rd chapter and Revelation, the 14th chapter, you trample them like grapes in a wine press.
Right? No Revelation 14, Revelation 19.
Revelation 19 to what? Right, Revelation 14 and 19 as the brother is saying, right, he's coming to trample them as grapes. Grown men speaking about it. Grown men is coming to make look like little boys. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's one. Sorry.
And the whole for the
So the Revelation 12, war. Right, and he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him.
Right. So as soon as they rushed him with the best weaponry, right, he's also going to meet them with some of their best weaponry in the skies, and we're going to get Revelation, the 12th chapter. Right. They rushed in and were trampled immediately. Right.
This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
And you said the astonishment, so as you made mention of when your father walks in the room and sees you are fucking up, you are left in an astonished position. So you know you can't talk your way out of that. Sometimes you have try and reason with your father, right? When he comes to get your ass open, because sometimes you know it has no reason. You have to bring the belt. Right.
Yeah. There's verse 30, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, and one and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another.
So he's going to come in the midst of World War III, right? Or like the Battle of Armageddon, right? Or the Battle of Armageddon in the Hebrew. Armageddon in the Hebrew. He's coming to meet all of these nations in the midst of a war. In the midst of our, that's what we've been saying. If you sign up to go join any military, especially in these times, you're not going to have to worry about World War III. You're going to have to worry about a war against YAHAWASHI. That's what you're really going to have to worry about. Go ahead. Because World War III is just leading you up to be the first set of people YAHAWASHI kills upon his arrival.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you haven't been killed already,
if you haven't died in the war, you're gonna die when YAHAWASHI comes. So you could join the military at your own discretion. Right?
Right, one people against another, and one realm against another.
And one realm against another. It's the heavenly realm coming to meet the what? The physical realm, or the heavenly realm coming to meet the earthly realm. Right? That is what's going to take place here. So you can jump back up. Yeah, more there, right?
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
So you see, in the midst of World War III, all of these nations going to be fighting against each other, which is a mindset they're applying, right? Or they're going to apply. Well, yeah, all of us are enemies, you know. But all of us could sit and war for this block. We're not going to let foreigners or people, you know, who so say have no say in this matter, that I would going to believe they're going to operate and move within that pride, that YAHAWASHI, the creator of this world, has no say so in the matter of World War III or who governs the earth upon the demise of Babylon. Right? Because that World War III is really about centered around who's going to be the next world superpower.
Winner take all.
Winner take. There's no World War III is a free for all. Right, a battle royale, everybody just spawn on one map, the Levant in Saudi Arabia, and we're gonna see who's gonna govern this earth upon the demise of Babylon. But little do they know it's YAHAWASHI. Right? But they don't believe that, nor do they want that Psalms the 2nd chapter what it says, right? Right. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth have set themselves and they are taken and they
against the anointed and against his anointed.
Yeah, against Yahawashi and against his anointed, saying, let us what? Break their bands asunder. So the bands, the bounds, right? The limit the Lord has set for these people to operate within the earth and rule, right? They want to go past that. They seek to push past that. So in their mind, upon the return of the Messiah, that has nothing to do with him because he's been in heaven all this time. So yeah, although we are in war with each other, we could pause what we're doing. Salakia. We could, or let me not say they can pause what they are doing and then, join forces together to fight the Lord upon his arrival. No.
We agree as block, one are we war.
Yeah, one are we.
You gotta kill each.
Yeah, because he are no lot no say in this matter. Well, that could be the furthest thing from the truth. Because he made this shit. Right? So from here, yeah, we could go back up there to higher way.
The second is just chapter 13 and verse 5.
Right.
And after this I beheld and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men.
Same sentiment. So what was stated above or prior in the chapter, it was then explained unto Ezra by the angel later on in the chapter. Right? Go ahead.
From the four winds of heaven,
right,
to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it.
Right, this is the artillery. He's coming with a great mountain which is representative of what? The fathership. Right, those great chariots, the so-called UFOs you have been hearing about, right? That 7-mile long UFO which is about to enter the Earth's atmosphere. Best believe Yahawashi is coming in one of those, right?
Yeah, you can even think about Revelation, the 6th chapter. It say what?
The chariot which caught him up and carried him into heaven?
No, that's 5. I think about Revelation 6 chapter. Where we say
the White Horse.
We said the interpretation to John and he said what? He saw a man on top of a white horse, what? A man on top of what? Pure power.
Right.
So white represents purity and horse represents power.
Right.
Revelation 13 and verse 8. And after this I beheld and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him was so afraid and yet durst fight.
As I say, the father effect is coming with things, right? He's coming, you have to get the belt. A situation you're going to meet yourself in dealing with Yahawashi, you have to get the belt to get this ass open, right?
Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war.
So he's coming with heavenly artillery.
But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
Right, so the chariot will have, as Habakkuk the 3rd chapter and the 8th verse, or sorry, from the 4th verse, let's say no.
Horns out of his hands.
Horns are coming out of his hands, and he's literally coming here with a bullhorn out of his hand or a goat horn out of his hand. No, and they go into that horn, it goes into rays of light. Literally, the chariots are going to be coming with, heavenly technology, which should be able to disintegrate you with lasers, right? Laser beams, right? As people even got dreams of some people running underneath the chariots to get saved. Or rather, the chariot was picking up people, using the rays of light, and then it had some people seeing that people were being saved, right? Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Right. They shall be astonished at the strangeness of his salvation. A lot of people were seeing that, elect men were being taken up, elect members were being taken up in those very same UFOs, and they were running under the same chapter beam to go up, but they were being vaporized. Right? So if you're not a part of the Lord elect and you go underneath that tractor beam, you can expect to be vaporized. This is the technology is coming with. Right?
The numbers 11 and 1. And when the people complained, it displeased YAHAWASHI, and YAHAWASHI heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of YAHAWASHI burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp.
So you see, you're tired back to what took place aforetime in the Exodus period. The angel looking over us to guide us into the land was YAHAWASHI, and he was using the fathership, right? That pillar of fire by day, and that was it a pillar of fire by day and a light by night?
And it was a cloud of smoke by day.
A cloud of smoke, a cloud of smoke by day and a pillar of fire by night. It kept the Egyptians at bay. It's the same chariot, the same technology. Moses just likened it unto that because Moses couldn't compare it unto anything else.
Or explain what it was.
Or couldn't explain it or explain what it was and without any other metric. Right? So you can go ahead.
Second
Verse
is
9, right?
Second is verse 13 and verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips he flaming breath, out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
Which is Jesus' parabolic ways or metaphoric ways of saying he was using laser beams and technology from the chariots to deal with these people. Because as we said before, we get Isaiah 9. Isaiah 9 and verse 5.
And also representative of what he gave in all commands, because the Lord said, Jeremiah, shall not my word be fire in thy mouth? The Lord giving on command saying, hey, vaporize he, melt he, kill he.
Yeah. It's not like you come in here like you ever watch like you ever watch the animated movie Fire Breather, and YAHAWASHI leaving the chariots and all that technology to come down and breathe fire now. He's giving out commands, right, and angels doing his bidding, as we're going to get in Revelation, the 12th chapter, and around the 7th verse. Because in Isaiah 9 and 5, just to prove how this war is going to take place. It's not a war with man's technology.
It's Isaiah chapter 9 and reading verse 5.
Right.
For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood.
Right, so that is our foretime, right? Our battles took place back in the day, and like your battles took place now, it's just the sword has been furbished, right? To the technology and the means by which men go to war today. It's just, it has been upgraded, but it's largely the same concept. Two opposing sides face off against each other, and both of them run to each other to fight. And best man, maybe best man win. Right? That is how wars took place aforetime. Or we say this war is going to take place, or how this war is going to be conducted.
But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Right, so this one, when YAHAWASHI comes to settle this war, because if he's going to settle World War III, this is not going to be our war where it ends, or it's decided with YAHAWASHI leaving the chariot and then he comes on and he's chopping people up. No, he's giving commands when I need to go back to second and verse 15.
Verse 19, through the wrath of Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother.
Right, so through the wrath of the Lord will the land be darkened. The wrath of the Lord is what? Or it's going to be exercised by what, as Nahum 1 and verse 4 and 5 says, 4, 5, 6 says, his fury shall be poured out like fire. Right, the land is going to be darkened. Why? Because the fathership, as I just made mention of, it blocked out the sun. Right, the large fathership that YAHAWASHI is coming with is going to be so large that it's going to block out the sun. And you're going to be fueled for the fire. Why? Why are you going to be fueled for the fire? Because your body is going to be what? Incinerated in said fire. As you put wood in a fire to ignite it, the bodies of the men of the earth are going to ignite the Lord's fuel. It's going to ignite the Lord's fire. Right? You could go now. Now you could go to Revelation 12 now and read from verse 7 and then you go whole Isaiah 15 now.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12.
So what we do here, we set up the premise to go into Isaiah 15 and verse 1, right, which details the events leading up to this said battle, right, which is going to take place on the face of the earth, right.
Revelation 12 and verse 7. And there was war in heaven.
Like war in heaven, because heaven throughout the scriptures, you can like it has three heavens, right? The sky, the firmament, and then the third heaven where the Father dwells. Third heaven?
Yes.
Third heaven where the Father dwells, right? The heaven that is speaking about here is speaking of the sky.
Right.
The war in heaven. Because think about it. John is seeing this vision and he's looking up. Everything is just showed unto John. So, if John is looking up at this vision, where would he be able to see it? Can we look up and see where the Father dwells? Right? Can we look up and see this firmament? So the only heaven we have access to see it our own very eyes is the blue skies. So where would this war have to have been taking place? In the first heaven? Right?
Revelation 1 and 7. And every eye shall see him.
Yeah, how can every eye see him? Right? Even those which pierced him, if this needs to take place in the third heavens. It doesn't make any sense. Most of the eyes of the people in history have been on it. Right? Everybody, as YAHAWASHI says, is coming with the whole host of heaven. Everybody is going to witness this. How could you be able to witness this? You know, if this is really if this is really a war in heaven where the Father dwells. Doesn't make any sense. It's really the sky it's speaking about where every man is able to see. But Ezra as well, when he saw the vision, where did he see this place? He said it was men.
The angels even gave the interpretation of it that was speaking of men on earth. He came to meet men on earth.
Right. How could he come to meet men on earth and what takes place in heaven if it's men on earth? Because the heaven is speaking about the skies, not with the Father dwells. War can't take place if people not sit and then pull a drive by in heaven and leave it 2/3 or 1/3 of the Lord angels. No. Right.
So like just one thing. Birds of heaven.
That's Revelation 19.
Yeah, there's Revelation 19 and 17.
You better going to bring a precept to back this up as well to give you like, a greater understanding of where this heaven actually is.
Yeah. Revelation 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
Right.
And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven.
How could all the fowls fly? The fowls is speaking about the birds of the earth. Give me any bird you know. Well, one that can fly. Pigeons, eagles, like crows. What else? Kobo. We call it a kobo. It's also known as the American vulture. Eagle. I said eagle. That eagles. All of these birds that fly in the midst of heaven, because these birds are speaking about is carnivores as well. Because it's going to let you know why it's speaking about carnivores. Carrying them onto a great supper. My thing is this. Where are these birds located? Have you ever seen an eagle flying anywhere? And if you have seen an eagle that flies anywhere, it just said that was in the midst of heaven. Where do eagles fly?
In the sky.
Where do vultures fly?
In the sky.
Come on. Right.
Well, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power.
Right. Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power. After the dust clear and the smoke settle and their dead bodies remaining upon the face of the earth, those birds are going to have a feast. They are going to have a feast, right? But where would they originate? Where would they call out of to have that feast? Because they're going to have to come down to earth. Right. Where would they call out of to have that feast? The heavens, where would those birds have been? Are there eagles flying in heaven? No.
As far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know, there are no eagles flying in heaven. Why? Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter lets you know that. When man dies, their spirit goes to the Father, to the heavens, and their body goes to the earth. But the spirits of the beast remain within the earth, because you go to heaven to receive a judgment. Right? The spirits of the beasts of the earth, they don't have to receive judgment because they operate in their correct order. So if that be the case, anywhere you could find a beast, whether it be their spirit or their physical body, it would be within this realm. So it's not where the Father dwells. Come on. If you go to Revelation 12 and verse 7 again.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. And there was a war in heaven.
Right.
In the skies.
In the skies, yes.
And Michael and his angels fought.
Which Michael is representative of the angel of war. He's going to be under direct orders from YAHAWASHI. And the other angels of Michael and his angels representative of the heavenly host that YAHAWASHI is coming with. Right?
Every spirit in heaven.
Every spirit that's in heaven is coming with Yahawashi, right? Except for the Father and probably 20 and 4 elders that bow to the Father and worship the Father, right? Those spirits are coming with Yahawashi with the intention of waging war on you. My thing is this: if they're leaving the heavens, right?
Come on.
What?
Come on, as I say that the Revelation 19 make mention it, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. Every war in heaven is going to, and that verse was said subsequently after he said what? In righteousness doth he judge and make war. So if Yahawashi is coming to make war, and then all the armies in heaven, Michael inclusive of that with his angels, also going to follow him as he leaves heaven. How is the war in heaven going to take place in heaven? Not making no sense.
Not making no sense, right?
I'll put this up after.
Right.
In Daniel 12 and 1.
Exactly, Michael again. Michael, he's the archangel of war, right? In the heavens, the order is Yahweh, Yahawashi, and then Michael. Michael is the angel of war. If Michael is coming to wage war, and as you just said, it's heaven, he's leaving, or is he still in heaven waging war in Revelation 12 and verse 7? Because the heaven is speaking about is not where they are now, right? It's where they're coming, or where they're going.
At that time shall Michael stand up.
And then again, think about the reasoning, context surrounding the coming to wage war.
Right.
Let's say for some nonsense reason, people may say, well, they're leaving just one part of heaven to go to another part of heaven.
Now this precept is proven that is not the case.
Right, but then what I was going to say as well, if they're leaving one part of heaven to go to another part of heaven, it's still no foot the bill. Because the people they're warring against
It's people on earth.
It's people on earth. Yahawashi said who the kings are going to read lower down in Revelation 19. It speaks of who? The kings of the earth. Right. Where do you find the kings of the earth? Literally in the sentence on the earth. Right. So why would Michael and them leave one part of heaven to go to another part of heaven to what the kings of the earth do on earth?
I think that is 12 and 49 because the king said correct. I am come to set fire on earth, and what will I if it already be kindled? Yes. Because again the Lord's wrath, his fury is poured out in fire. And so the Lord saying no, right? He's coming to set fire on earth now. This time we live in it, right? But 2,000 years back then, he was already pissed off with the people that dwelt on earth. So if he's coming to set fire on earth, who pissing him off? Is the people that dwell in the earth. You think any spirit up in the heavens pissing off Yahawashi to the point that he want to war everybody up there?
Exactly.
That don't make no sense.
That I was going to add as well, because they read the context in the scriptures, Isaiah 24 from 1 to 6 as well. It says the earth is defiled under the inhabitants here because they have transgressed the Lord and broken the everlasting covenant. My thing is this: the people worthy of war being waged on them don't dwell in heaven. What sin is being committed in heaven for Yahawashi to leave one part of heaven and go and sort out that matter? Not making any sense.
Right. The next thing I wanted to add as well, the scriptures say the place of judgment is under the sun.
Under the sun meaning where?
On earth.
On earth, within this realm. I think one realm, I think another realm. You think about realms, realms represent the place of what? Dominion. Right? So which realm is war in which realm?
Fear and Job 25 and 2.
Job 25 and 2.
Fear and dominion are with him and make peace in his high places. It are no wars are possible to go up there. That don't making no sense.
Come on. What kind of, how can you bring order on earth and order is not even within your own house?
And
which we don't question whether or not order is in the Most High house. Trust me, we know. And trust me, we know and believe that so much to the point that we believe he's going to bring order on earth as he has to. Let thy will be done in heaven as it is in earth.
No, let your will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Sorry, why I keep making that mistake is because of the bullshit pamphlet you got from them Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, them fuckers.
Yeah, their teaching and part of their doctrine is that the Lord's will which is taking place within the earth, which we know that the Lord is in control of everything. So that's not the question. They're saying the things which are taking place in earth, Yahawashi prayed for in Matthew the 6th chapter from verse 9 to 13, and what is taking place in earth, let it be done in heaven. That's back to front. He said what? Let thy will that is in heaven be done where? In the earth. So peace that reigns in heaven must come in the earth. Think about it. What do they call it? The Prince of Peace. The everlasting Father. If you can't control the spiritual realm, what makes you think you're going to come to the earth and dictate the physical realm? Doesn't make any sense. He's in control of both, as he's going to prove. Right?
Even to the point where the scripture say the tremble, he will look over and the angels will see him and tremble. Angels will see him and tremble. How them could even think to wage war with a man and the shit in himself?
They can't even look at him without trembling, but somehow they're gonna have enough venom in them to warn.
It's only fools gonna do that, as we just read in 2 Ezra 13 chapter. Only fools gonna be trembling at the Lord and not to warn.
Exactly.
Only fools.
Yeah, if you're trembling at somebody, the next action you take is not to war against them. That don't make any sense.
So we understand here that in order for the Lord to establish order in the earth, it has to have order in the heavens, as he said in Matthew 6. So,
Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people.
right, so Michael being the archangel general, right, after Yahushua is captain of the host, he could sit down and say, the man who's underneath the captain in the military. Lieutenant General, one of those people, right? The next man up in line is Michael. Right? And Michael is going to stand up for his people, right? He's going to stand up for his people and help us in the time of Jacob's trouble, and leading up to his grand appearance with Yahushua or underneath Yahushua. He's then going to stand for us in a greater volume, right? Which we're reading about in Revelation 12, right?
And there shall be a time of trouble. This time of trouble will take place in the earth, known as Jacob's trouble.
Exactly. Can't have no time of trouble in heaven. Hey, we need to, these Christians and these witnesses and them, they really need to reconsider what they've been saying, because you all have to understand the magnitude of the nonsense you're speaking of. Think about it. If there is trouble in heaven, we are fucked in the earth. As we don't say as well, if evil is literally outside of the control of the most powerful being in existence, which anybody in any level or any form of worship will tell you that their power is the most powerful power in existence. So you speak with an Islamic man, they tell you Allah is the most powerful being in existence. You speak with the Hindus, let's not deal with them. They have too much people. But whoever they attribute the most powerful one to being, that's their God. Then you have the Christians, you all are saying God and Jesus Christ is the most powerful beings in existence. Then, who else? The witnesses and all of the other branches of Christianity, they sit and say what? That their power is the most powerful being in existence. Well, if that be the case, how could you all then simultaneously say that there is a being that is outside of the will of that person? That Satan is in control of wickedness and evilness in you. Hey, we argue that we would rather the Most High, who is the most powerful being in existence, let him be in control of evil. Because if it was out of his control, brother, everybody's fucked. Especially we. If there was no person who is if the most powerful person is not in control of evil and good within evil, they're saying he just has dominion over good. So if there's no person in control, or he's not in control of evil, well, how can he be the most powerful being in existence? And what's stopping evil from just consuming the entire earth?
Because that's the thing. Right now, the conditions for evil to rule or to reign in the earth right now perfectly set if the Most High in control of it.
Yeah.
For wickedness are exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and what their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Right? So think about it. Satan has no bridle on him. And then on top of that, he's working with people who are as evil as himself. They have no bridle on them.
And because they're doing evil to their own people.
Right, so think about that. Today, that's the case what's going on with them, and the Most High has no say so in that matter.
He don't know nothing more that going on.
That and all that, let's say, because they also say he's all knowing as well. So you made a power, or you made an entity called Satan for him to rebel against you, and you know that as you pull authority of evil into his hands. That don't make no sense. Listen, the earth would be running, the earth would have already been destroyed.
The same what Yahushua said, if not for the elect sake, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect, the day shall be shortened.
Because we
if
see
Satan was really in control of that, the elect will not get saved.
Exactly. Right.
The elect will not get saved. I won't say Satan, because Satan has followed the Lord and the Most. If Esau was in control of that, the elect
well, you know what I mean? Even the way in which they portray Satan, the way in which they portray Satan, right? Yeah, to be the most demonic being in existence. Well, if he had control over being the most demonic being in existence and having the power over evil and wickedness, listen, bruv, we wouldn't be standing here. No one would be. No one would be.
Yeah, a lion, and I just jump out of that forest right and you pull out with a shirt.
Exactly. So, listen, you all really need to reconsider what you're thinking and what you're saying. When the Most High has no control over the heavenly realm, or there's turmoil in the heavenly realm, you can extend that control to the earth.
Yeah, it is, and even then, it is a scary thing to think that the Most High would even do some madness like that to leave one of them angels, the evil angels he created to be evil, Psalm 78:49, I believe, and lead them over control of things like evil, because we see when angels get say so or get the command or instruction from the Most High to let go or unleash hell in the earth. What does go on the Most High just had to stay their hand, because when them start, they don't really stop.
They don't stop. They say they please to do evil.
Yeah.
So the Lord, this thing, you all understand how powerful an angel is?
Yeah.
One angel
could come here and wipe out
the entire earth. You're telling me the most of the chief angel on the left hand side, the guy that is the Most High, rented 1/3 of those angels.
Some will say one,
some will say one, some will say two. So we just say two.
Yeah,
right? We're left with two-thirds of the Lord's angels, those powerful beings, and the Lord has no control over any of them again.
They're just going about it.
Come down, that makes no sense, man.
And so like, just to say that, it won't make no sense, because again, we have evidence. If they was really going about in the earth doing what they want, you would be aware. Why? Because they would fuck the place up. They would have to. So the whole war in heaven, that don't make no sense. The conditions that would be met or would be necessary for a war in the spiritual heavens with the Father dwelling, for that to happen, those conditions don't exist.
Those conditions, it cannot exist. It can't be all-knowing, all-powerful, and omnipotent, and those conditions be met for people to take it, for people to be pulling drive by, Satan pulling drive by in heavens now, and still alive.
Like, that
don't make no sense. So, with that being established, we finish off Revelation 12 from verse 7 and we get into the Isaiah 13 and 1. Because Revelation 12 from verse 7 is going to be the end goal of Isaiah the 15th chapter. Right? So bring all of these nations together and God judge them. Right?
They are Revelation chapter 12, reading from verse 7 again. Right? And prevailed not the dragons. Right, Revelation 12:7, and there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Which the dragon, right, also the serpent, also the devil, is metaphorically representative of a man and an empire within the earth, like the Roman Empire, right? Which the Roman Empire, the dragon had given this final beast its power, because they operate in the stead and the military might of the Roman Empire. Right, they are going to be the ones set against YAHAWASHI and Michael and all these other angels upon his return. That is what he's speaking about. It's angels, because angels simply means messenger, right? One who carries on a message or acts on the behalf of God. I think it is literally say that acts on the behalf of God.
I know that.
Yeah, you go with it. When they go into it in the Greek, it says that it acts on the behalf of power. So if you're an angel for someone, you act on their behalf. You're their representative, right? So the representative of the dragon, the angels who represent the dragon, and 2/3, the dragon is in Satan, and the angels that represent the dragon, and 2/3 of the angels that left heaven with Satan. No. Representative of the empire that is ruling in the earth today,
and their soldiers.
And their soldiers, their military power. So it's an army against another army. As we just read in the second of the 13th chapter. One realm against another, armies against an army. But
there's G to the 2, Agrios, sorry, Agrios. No, Their definition 1, a messenger, envoy, one who is sent.
One who is sent, right?
An angel, a messenger from power.
A messenger from power. Very strong definition.
Yeah, really strong definition. From Agrio, probably derived from G71, compare G34 to bring tidings. A messenger, especially an angel, by implication a pastor.
Right, so what? A messenger. right? Someone who brings tidings, one who is sent, right?
Whether good or bad.
Whether it be
Tidings,
good or bad, the time, because it's an envoy as well. Envoys often, aforetime in the ancient world, they were the ones to initiate and let her know, or let a nation or a dominion know that, hey, we bringing water to your doorstep. Who was a good representative of that? The man who his pastor name again in 300, Leonidas. Right, the man who Leonidas kicked down the a big pit. Right, the man who Leonidas kicked down the big pit, he even told Leonidas, you dare pull a sword against an envoy? Because envoys, everybody allowed envoys to live with it.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. I just come to let you know that my empire is going to war against your empire. Right? So he came, that man, the man who was kicked down that big dark pit, he was a messenger to let Leonidas know that Xerxes was going to bring war upon the Spartans. Right? So, you understand, as long as someone is bringing a message or acting on the behalf of you, you can consider them an angel. That is the dragon's angels. The dragon's angels are the military might they're going to come with to attempt to fight against Michael and his angels.
That's the message right there, you intend war against you all.
That's the message. And some messages can be stated without being spoken. Right? So by their actions alone, they're letting you know is war we're gonna wage war. By the fact that they're building a 6th branch of the US military, right, they want to war against Mosai.
Yeah.
That's you already send the message. As we are sending the message to you, you have already sent the message to our power. Right. And we are letting them know anyway.
Right. And prevailed not.
Right, so they lost that war. Point blank period, they lost that war. That was never a war you could win in the first place. Right?
Neither was their place found anymore in heaven.
Again, another representative of heaven, because not only are they going to be shut out of the skies, they're going to be pulled out of rulership. So heaven can be likened unto 5 things in the scripture. The sky, the firmament, and the third heaven where the Father dwells. The spiritual realm. Then there's the kingdom of heaven mentioned of in the scripture. And then there's what? Rulership. Or having a good experience within the earth, it means to be in rulership. So the kingdom of heaven and the last heaven being in rulership is synonymous. Because the kingdom of heaven is going to be in rulership upon the return of YAHAWASHI. But what? What? Which is Israel. So what? Which is Israel. So what you're going to see here, or what was just spoken there, what he said, what? Neither was their place found in heaven anymore. At the end of that war, you only answer to who's going to win World War III and who's going to get this free for all and who's going to be in control of the earth upon the end, or the demise of Babylon, the great which is America. So don't say YAHAWASHI. You all will no longer have authority and power within the earth. Right?
Revelation 12 and verse 8 again, and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil.
That's the point we want to consider the war in heaven. So now we can get Isaiah 16 from verse 1. Right? You know, it's quite a bit into the video. 43 minutes, but you know.
Isaiah 13 and verse 1.
Right, so then this is now what the similar prophecies mentioned all through the Bible. Just read the 2nd chapter. Just went to Revelation, the 12th chapter from the 7th verse. Touching Revelation, the 19th chapter. There's Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Jeremiah 49, 50, 51. Right? Isaiah as well, the 66th chapter. All of these chapters spoke the same message in different ways.
Isaiah 34 as well.
Isaiah 34 from
Ezekiel
the
35,
Ezekiel 35, Ezekiel 36, right? Revelation 17. The same message all through the Bible, just spoken about in different ways, and to let you know. Because it's spoken about in different ways, because everybody didn't touch the same point. For instance,
there are different viewpoints, different aspects.
Leading up to the same war in heaven,
right.
Which would then lead to the kingdom, right? So Revelation 17 gives you it from the aspect of the nations of the earth together, turning their back on Babylon, and then what burning that bitch with fire, right? Ezekiel or Isaiah 13 gives you what? A part further back into the same story where it starts from the prophets. The build up. We being the envoys letting these nations know that their judgment is at hand. So go ahead.
Isaiah 13 and 1.
And you go hold Hosea 12 and 10.
The burden of Babylon which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
Right, so you could go into that word burden, and why did Isaiah the son of Amos see this burden? Go ahead, read Hosea 12 and 10.
This is the book of Hosea chapter 12 reading verse 10. I've also spoken by the prophets.
Right, so the Lord had spoken by the prophets, go ahead.
And have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets.
So what the Lord had multiplied, these same visions that we're going to go into here in Isaiah, the 13th chapter, right? And then he allowed the prophets, after getting these visions, these similitudes, the understanding of these prophecies, to then declare it unto the world. That's the point, right? So, and I just a small plug-in. You can't be sitting down here and not doing your videos. You can't be sitting down here and, you know, having the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding of the Lord and not sending up a sacrifice. Basically, talking about that when we were out here. The Lord didn't give us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for us to be silent. We read Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter and the 2nd verse, where he said, make the vision plain and put together.
Did
you get my you see this?
But just a point to add in as well as the saying that not staying silent. Isaiah 62 from verses 6 and 7, he that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silent, and give him no rest till he establish and he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth, which is the culmination of the war in heaven, is to establish Jerusalem and make us a praise in the earth.
Right. And Habakkuk 2 from verse 2.
Yeah.
You got the EMP there? You got the EMP. Nah, it's in the paper.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and reading verse 2. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 2. And Yahweh answered me and said.
So what the Lord, as you just said, the Lord explained some communications when he and this term, he had multiplied visions and these similitudes by ministry of the prophet. So the Lord answering him here would have been in the form of a similitude or a vision or an angel even speaking with him. Job the 33rd chapter verse 14, 15, 16, 17, right in a dream of vision of the night. To the Lord, Habakkuk, after lifting up his lamentation in chapter 1, he then got his answer to his lamentations, mourning and woes in chapter 2. So the Lord answered what Habakkuk asked him. Go ahead.
Right.
And then you listen to what the Lord tell him he has to do.
Right. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision.
Write the vision. So after getting the vision, because you have to write this song to remember this.
Make record of it.
Because the Lord said, he mentioned that all through the law. Write this down for a memorial and a statue, so that the nations and the generations that come after you, they may know. That was the purpose of writing it down, so that they may know it cannot be forgotten, it was recorded.
Cause these things to be written in paper.
Cause these things, beautiful precept there. Cause these things to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Look, the Lord even gave it to Ezra. Look how the work Ezra put in with those that are scribes. Like in Ezra 2nd Ezra 14th chapter and verse from 58, 59, 40, 41, 42. They stayed up a lot of nights, a lot of days, right, to write 204 books for we to get this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right, same thing with Habakkuk did there. You know, we did it in 3 chapters, but you know, same sentiment is shared. Right, Habakkuk didn't keep silence upon here in this way. As if you read lower down in Habakkuk 2, you will see. Right, so you got this vision to what end?
Right, to make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it.
So what the Lord gave you this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding to make it plain for the elect, everybody, but more so targeting the elect for them to see, because the elect would do the instruction that was given after, run that readeth it. Upon hearing this word, upon this, you have to act, right? Because all through the scripture, right, words are synonymous with action. As the Lord said something is going to happen, it's going to take place physically. If the Lord said to jump, or people are going to jump, they're going to jump. If the Lord said those missiles are going to be shut off by decree and command, those missiles, the best believe, are going to be shut off by decree and command.
As an arrow that is shot with a mighty
man, it is not turned back, so shall the words of the Lord. Isaiah 55 verse 8 till 13. His words don't return unto him void. The Lord's words, YAHAWASHI.Street words, which we declared, we being the mouthpiece of the Lord, are verbs actually. Doing words, doing actions.
Is the full spectrum of the grammar with our words
and nouns are adjectives. He's very descriptive in the verbs, right? He's very descriptive of the things his words are said going to be done, right? So yeah.
The Lord word, it's going past just being a statement, is an action. It's literally going past.
Run there as well.
Yeah, run. You can. Get the word in first as well.
Run is H. So like H7323 Rawata, which means in Strong Rat, so like rat, which means in Strong's definition a primitive root to run for whatever reason, especially to rush, break down.
Break down. Run, rush, make a move. You didn't
Hey,
get it.
just how break down.
Yeah.
He may break down that read it.
You may break down that beautiful. So
Yeah,
you
that
get this
happen, that
vision
happen.
to break down what you just got.
Yeah.
Right? So the Lord didn't, why? Think about it. You've just been enlisted on the King of the Universe's payroll. And you're not doing your job. That's madness, bro. You cannot be enlisted on the King of the Universe's payroll and he's paying you, who's faithful. That's what, get out. Hebrews the 6th chapter and the, how it go, minister, that new minister. So he's not
You see these 6 and 10. For power is not unrighteous, so forget your work and labor of love.
So it's not like you're not going to be paid. It's not like you're not going to get your just and your due reward. Go ahead. But what you have to do in order to get your just and your due reward?
Yeah, the work you mean.
Yeah, the work he's gonna give it to you, because go ahead.
Which you have shewed towards his name.
To shoot towards his name, so you're doing this first and foremost unto YAHAWASHI.Street. You open up the video, first and foremost you like to give all praise and glory all and honor to YAHAWASHI.Street. Right? You're doing this unto him first and foremost, right?
And that
Then
you
you're doing
have,
it for yourself. So then you can get salvation, right?
and that you have ministered to the saints and do minister.
In that you have ministered unto his elect, his saints, and you continue to minister. This job is not done, as your brother made mention of in Isaiah 62 from verse 6 to 7, till Jerusalem be made a praise in the earth. Right?
And we desire that every one of you
And we desire that every one of you
do through the same diligence to fulfill and we desire that every one of you do through the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith
Get in a
and
different
patience
transition. Beauty. Get in GNT. Get in GNT. Get in GNT.
and
Verse,
patience
from verse 11.
and patience inherit the promises. They see Hebrews 6 and 11 in the GNT. So that's here. There's constant in season, out of season.
Yeah. Read from 10. Just read from 10 in GNT. And read up to where you stop.
They see Hebrews 6 and 10 in the
You
GNT.
see, as we said, the prophecies were stated and went forth all throughout the scripture. The same prophecy spoken about in a different way and from a different viewpoint. So don't have it. Right? It's stated from in the same way or the same message towards the same end as you say you must always speak the same thing. Right? You must always speak the same thing. This was also all the same thing spoken. Because we just read in Habakkuk 2 and verse 2. Right? You may run that read it. After this being declared unto you, the Apostle Paul giving the same exhortation, you have to put in the work. Go ahead.
Hebrews 6 and 10, power is not unfair. He will not forget the work you did.
Right, so you're on demand payroll. He's going to pay. The scripture speak about paying a man and the withhold wages from a man to whom it's due.
If you will not good from a man
To whom
power
it's
of
due.
that hand to do it.
It's not just that. When you're paying a man, man's supposed to be daily paid. Right, that's literally our law. There will be.
One job, you're supposed to get paid one time after, you're
I
supposed
see.
to hold back the
Yeah,
money.
you don't hold back from the needy. We are the needy. But we won't get that privilege to not get our pay which given unto us.
Like you say, it's a privilege to not get it.
No, I mean we won't get that privilege of getting daily paid unless we do the work. Right? And we daily pay, right? We know we ultimate pay the bonus. Right? The bonus is looking to become a part of the lottery, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully
Store
put-
your treasures in
Yeah,
heaven.
storing the
Must
pictures in
not-
heaven.
Do not corrupt your
I say, you know, you're looking at your bonuses is promised based on how good you do your daily work. But your daily work, your daily paid work, is, you getting food on the table. Don't think this is no luxurious and glamorous lifestyle. Your bills being paid is a daily pay. You being alive is a daily pay. Because really and truly, you ought to be put to death for the sins you committed in this lifetime. But what you grace, right? You are saved, and by faith you are saved through grace, and it's not of yourselves, right?
Not of works that any man can do.
Right? So it's by faith, right? And we show that faith. James the first chapter, James the second chapter, right? A man may say that he have faith, but where's his works, right? I will say that I have faith, and I will show you I have faith by my works. Same thing. The Lord, as soon as his word leaves his mouth, it's a verb. Every time our words leave our mouth, it has to be a word. It has to be exercised through us doing the Lord's work. Right? Right.
Hebrews 6 and verse 10 in the GMT.
Look at my head.
Hebrews 6 and 10 in GMT. For why is not unfair? You will not forget the work you did, or the love you showed for him, and the help you gave and are still giving to the other Christians. Our Hebrews 6 and 11, our great desire is that each of you keep up your eagerness to the end, so that the things you hope for will come true. We do not want you to become lazy, but to be like those who believe and are patient.
I'm back from
Hebrews 6 and 11. Our great desire is that each of you keep up your eagerness to the end.
Right, so you're working with men, right? You're on the job with men. We want you to work as hard as you've been working as well. Because
Enter to other men labors.
Enter to other men labors, and scripture also talk about what we have. This is plenteous, but the laborers are few. We already have a little bit of laborers out here. You can't be coming on the work and you get the job and you pulling stones.
Yeah, you can imagine that. The apostles worked so hard to build this sure and steady foundation that we on, even improve upon it. When the brother had mistakes in the doctrine and things that had to be corrected, and we find over time that I make sure and slab some more concrete over there and show up this foundation. For you to now fuck up building the pillar, or the pillars already built, you fucking up decorating a window or putting up some curtains.
Listen, we to the point right now, especially in this breakdown we're going to go into here in Isaiah the 13th chapter. We literally just have to go up at any of the apostles' pages and look up Isaiah the 13th breakdown. Right? When you go into that and you listen to that is a precept with Israeli, or a breakdown with Israeli make me. Right? All the breakdowns, of course, show the Bible is make me give double honors unto the apostles and elders. Right? You're gonna get that precept as well. Right? All the breakdowns and somebody, but Isaiah 13, bro, the fact that them could have tied the Medio Persians to the point where you had to know that the needs, the Medio Persians, the needs, it had to be needs reference and prophecy. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And we have the affordability now where we could just go on the YouTube and look at what them had to go in our library to learn for free. So they did all of that work. Spearheaded by the Holy Spirit. You can't for that, of course. You are giving me honor to YAHAWASHI.Street first and foremost. But they did all that work. They put in all that labor. So when you just had to wipe some tables in the pillar, in the temple. Right? You just had to wipe some tables in the building and you pulling stones to wipe tables there. They already did the hard work. They already made the table. They already set up the bedroom. They already set up the dining hall. They already have the food put out there for you. All you had to do is come and eat and then do your due diligence. Right?
Clean up your plate after that.
You just had to wash your wares when you done it. And you go through and they done all that hard work for you to come here and pull stones, bruv. Nah. Continue.
Hebrews 6 and 11 GNT, our great desire is that each of you keep up your eagerness to the end.
Right.
So that the things you hope for will come true.
Right, so the bonuses. Right? Yes, you doing your daily. Right, just is all get that quickly, but.
And we will struggle if things together.
And what?
We will struggle and get that.
You read verse 7 and then no, I'm sorry, I finish. And then get Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 4.
Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 4, the ultimate bonus a man could hope for.
Right.
For though they be punished in the sight of men.
Yeah, so though the work be hard, right? Though we even be persecuted for righteousness' sake, right? Go ahead.
Yet is their hope full of immortality.
So yet after going through all of this, at the end of this job, right? You're gonna have to take a lot of shit, right? Even when you now start working a job, you have to take a lot. If you wish to move up within a company, bro, you have to take a lot of shit when you now come. Like just be able to be ground, right? You have to be able to be ground so people may speak to you in a way they don't like. Right? They may not be justified in the way they're speaking to you. A lot of the abuse that comes away may not be justified. But you had to take it. Why? Because you know as long as you stick it out, there's a huge payoff. Right? And this is the greatest job in the universe. We're working for the greatest boss in the universe. And if you want his payroll, you promise these bonuses.
Greatest bonus.
And the greatest bonus, as the brother just spoke about, is what you hope to be full of immortality. If you don't want it has some people doing more the daily pay. Right? You debate some people as afraid that they more the daily pay, much less how if you don't want the daily pay and you're not working for the daily pay, how much more will you not be able to get those bonuses?
Well, scriptures make mention of which are received benefits, yet have they not known you. You profiting a lot from being an Israelite that you willing to admit or acknowledge or even aware of it. Much less you are Israelite, you are come now, man.
Yeah, things to do.
It has too much things to do for men to be talking about them being the videos, man. That is failure. That is failure. But burden or you say in transition?
I say in transition, Hebrews 12 and say Hebrews 6 and 12. We do not want you to become lazy.
What? We don't want you here. Right? You've done admit anyway, you were done lazy already, you were done doing whatever you were doing in the world. Why you coming here with men working hard to come and bring that straight out? Come, we didn't hire people to be lazy, bro. The Lord does not hire lazy people on his pay. If he hires lazy people on his payroll, best believe they're gonna be fired. They're gonna be fired. Right?
That's about if you actually shall flog that sword for servant.
Right. The servant that know the right and do the wrong, that servant shall be. That is your payment you're going to receive. You're going to receive the immortality, but given the fact that you chose to do nonsense, what? You're going to be beaten with many stripes as opposed to the bonus. Right? Which you signed up for. Right? How the brother they put it in the chat this morning is, you can look at it again, was the topic for today? It's disobedience.
It's unbelief betrayal.
It's unbelief betrayal. Right? The way in which you operating, you got hired to do his job and all of these promises were afforded unto you and you're not doing it to betray him. You're betraying him. Right? Which shows a sign of unbelief, because if you really believe in that bonus, you do this work. Right?
Hebrews 6 and 12, we do not want you to become lazy, but to be like those who believe and are patient.
Be like what?
Those who believe and are patient.
If you truly believe, you would have the patience to endure in this thing and do what is required of you. Right? So now we can go back to that. One more line, right?
And so receive what YAHAWASHI has promised.
And the only way again is if you believe, and the only way you could show that you believe, James 2 or James 1, I will show you my faith by my works. Right? So go back now to the Isaiah 13 from verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. Isaiah chapter 13 and reading verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see.
Yeah, that word burden there. Right? So we prove that Isaiah, the fact that Isaiah even received this vision here, right? We know that Isaiah is a prophet, and prove that we know Isaiah is a prophet. Upon receiving the vision, we do pen it down. Pen it down so we can get it today.
What? Scriptures also you say to him as a prophet. Isaiah the prophet.
Isaiah the prophet.
The Lord himself said Isaiah was a prophet.
Right.
So people are asking YAHAWASHI, or YAHAWASHI is asking the disciples, who do men say that I am? And then they're saying, well, if men think it's Isaiah, who's Isaiah, came by the other to Elijah or one of the prophets.
Or one of the prophets.
So implies reincarnation, how could it be one of them?
Right? So you understand here that the prophets, or Isaiah was a prophet purely based on the fact that he write that down.
Yeah.
And he declared.
Yeah.
Purely based on the fact that he do that. Right? He didn't shy away from his work. Right?
Isaiah 13 and 1, the burden of Babylon, I'm going to do what burden is Messiah, or Messiah, which BDB definition 1, load bearing, tribute, burden lifting.
Right, so the load in which Babylon has to bear. So what the prophecies the Lord has pronounced against Babylon. Prophecies are something that you have to bear as well. Because everybody has to go through prophecy, whether it be in a good state or in a favorable position for you or an unfavorable position for you. Your name is written in prophecy some way, form or fashion. Right? Whether you be fuel for the fire and just an NPC in the story, whether you be the elect, whether you be Esau-Edom, whether you be prophet. That's something to carry. Right? Or you could just be an NPC, a two-tailed, and you just get to, help this fire blaze. Yeah, you just get to make up the numbers. Right? Scripture talk about what? The multitude of them that were born in vain, let the multitude perish them that was born in vain. You see, you two-tailed Israel, you just NPCs right now. You have no say, no lot, no matter in this sport.
I would even say them have a better role to play than most NPCs. I would even go as far as to say the NPCs is the heathen nations.
Yeah.
The average Joe in the heathen nation, them is NPCs. I don't think I them on the spit like that.
But we like the multitude of them as a drop that falling from a vessel. So the whole sustenance, like the whole vessel that carry, let me say a gallon or 3 gallons of water you carry in a bucket, which is around 10 liters, 10 point something liters, right? That's Israel. If a drop falls from that, you're not going to miss it, no care. And the Lord likened that drop which falls from that whole bucket, that whole sustenance, to be in the multitude of the heathen nations. So a whole billions of you all are just a drop compared to the whole sustenance of Israel. So yeah, even the two-tailed Israel, they are better.
Them are play, I wish I make parables, explaining them, say, where shall I liken this wicked generation? They are likened unto children in a marketplace when the fellows coming and singing and piping unto them and dancing unto them, and they wouldn't react.
They wouldn't dance, and then when they lament and mourn, they wouldn't lament and mourn. Regardless of what the nation of Israel tell unto the prophets, right, the elected nation of Israel tell unto these two-tailed, they ain't gonna budge or move or muscle. Right? But they play a bigger role and a better part than each other. They do, right? So they justify the prophet. Yeah, they justify the prophet. But the rest of you all are just NPCs. Right? Non-playable characters. You all don't have a big part. Well, you have a big part to play, just a minor role you play. Fuel to the fire.
Right. There's strong definition from each 5375. It burdens specifically tribute or abstractly portage, figuratively an utterance, chiefly a doom. So what chiefly judging?
Doom. So the doom, right? The burden or the doom or the judgment that Babylon was prescribed by the mouth of Isaiah. Right?
That is Isaiah 13 and verse 2. Lift up a banner upon the high mountain.
Right, so the banner is representative of the world. You can see look up banner and think of the pieces
right? In fact, I can read book 20. Yeah, this is the book of Psalms chapter 20 verse 5. 2 pieces.
Yeah, right.
We will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our power we will set up our banners.
Right, in the name of our power we will set up our banners. The banners, go into that word banners, just more Bible for sure. Right, when you go into that banner is representative of this word in which we are declared to you today. And it starts with the apostles and elders of great mercy. So they are declaring the banner, and it starts with what? The name.
Go therefore unto all men, teaching them, baptizing them in the name of Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Right?
That's how we start off all of our lessons. We have access to this doctrine, to this scripture, through those entities. Right? Starting with the Father, then through His Son, then the Lord. Then the Son spoke about what? Sending the Ruach upon His departure. So what? The banner is representative of this doctrine. It's representative of this doctrine, and it starts with the name of the Lord. And He said what? This He said something about salvation. You just said it.
Oh, sorry, okay. We will rejoice in thy salvation.
We will rejoice in thy salvation. And when you read James 1 and 21, what does it say? right?
Receives with
Meekness,
meekness the grafted word, which is able to save your
That
soul.
is so the only way getting salvation out of this thing is via this word. And this word, this doctrine, this banner starts with the name of the Lord. Right? So when we lifting up that banner, we lifting up the name of the doctrine, or the name which represents whatever the doctrine represents, whatever the name is. When we go into the name in the Greek, is the onoma. Right. Things reckon upon or call to mind by the hand, by the hearing, the mentioning of any name or the utterance of any name. When we speak about Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, it's only doctrine of GMS that comes to mind. Right? That is what we lifting up onto these other nations and we're going to break down further. Right? The word banner?
The word banner is Nasa, something lifted up. Standard, signal, sign, signal pole, ensign, banner, sign, seal. As of now, more are going to strong. Nasawa, Nasas. The definition 1 to be lifted up. 1A to be lifted up, be displayed.
Be displayed. So we open, not only by the highways and byways, this going up on the YouTube. Everybody will be able to see what we have said today.
Because I will publish the name of
I will publish the name of my power openly. Behold, I am not ashamed. I testify my power openly.
Yeah, my Savior openly.
Right,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, going into it again, right, banner.
No, I mean,
right, Psalm 25. You will rejoice in thy salvation, and in the name of our power we will set up our banners.
Right.
Yahweh fulfill all thy petitions. Right.
Thy petitions is what? Thy utterances, the words.
The things we pleading for.
The things we pleading for and declaring that the Lord said he was going to do. He has to fulfill it. He has to bring it to pass. Right?
Psalm 60 verse 4. Thou hast given a banner to them that fear thee.
The elect. The Lord, and starting with the prophets, the Lord has given the banner, aka this doctrine, unto the prophets of Yahweh Basham. Right?
That it may be displayed.
That it may be displayed. So you give what? Scripture talk about what? Commit thou unto faithful men who shall be able to do what? Teach others also. The Lord had given this word unto men who knew would do the work. He also, and remember we spoke about it as well, the Lord often gives you what you want to prove that you don't deserve it. Right? So he also gives it unto men who you know wouldn't do the work. To prove that they didn't deserve to hear this thing in the first place.
Scripture talk about it better, they are not heard.
Yeah, the scripture talk about that, but I bring it up beautifully. For it would be better that they had not heard than to have heard and tasted of the promises of the kingdom of heaven to come, to then walk away from this thing.
Right? At some point the world wants to believe in it. We doubt in it, many believe in it, but was your belief enough to sustain your hold you on to the end?
Right.
Lord willing, we fall in the portion of men who have enough faith and belief in this thing to endure unto the end. So let's talk about what the 5 wise women or 5 wise wives who kept their oil. Virgins who kept their oil and the others who didn't. The oil burned out and then they went to seek for more oil, but what the judgment
when they come to seek for more oil, you're going to have a big famine of the word. You won't be able to get this thing for much longer. So while you have it, make the best of it. I'm not saying you're going to understand and know every breakdown within the scripture, right? But whatever the Lord has given you a allotted portion to be, make use of it. Make full proof of thy ministry. Right? If all you can do is go into prophecy, if all you like to do is go into the custom, if all you like to do is confound these Christians, do it. Right? Whatever the Lord has given you a allotted portion to be, do it. Because you can't say he didn't give you enough to declare his work daily.
Yeah, like example Joel. Joel only had 3 chapters. But Joel the prophet is back here today. You best believe he making full use of them 3 chapters. And all he talking about is the day of the Lord and the Messiah. And whoever them 3 chapters going to. And them 3 chapters is plenty. Obadiah only had 1. And by that 1 chapter he have, all through the book you find in that judgment on Edom.
Beautiful and what beautiful as well. The scripture speak about a wise man will learn and increase in knowledge. Right? So not only would they have, that 1 chapter or those 2 chapters, when they come back they will do more. Because they're required to do more in these days. As when they read Ezekiel the 47th chapter, when they go into the waters rising, it reached that point we're going to have to be able to navigate this doctrine and swim in it, right? So at the point of Ezekiel, when Ezekiel and those would have got the, the prophecies that they had back then, the waters would have been to the knees. But through more dispensation and time, we could say that when YAHAWASHI come, the waters rose up to the waist. Now, then, in this dispensation in time, it's up to your neck. Not only that, you had to swim in it now.
Yeah, some neck, some cover and some on head. Because Salah, just to say, when we compare these times that we in now in comparison to the times of old with the prophets,
we understand more than they.
Not just we understand more than they, because a lot of their visions have now been made plain, but a lot of things that they understood at the time we didn't understand now. Prophets were born in those times and they knew about reincarnation. Now a prophet have to come back in this life and have to learn about something he was here in your life. Like they didn't have to teach Isaiah and Amos and Jeremiah and all these other prophets reincarnation. They knew that existed, but now because their heritage was took and stolen from them or took from them or hid from them, now they have to be taught all over again.
In that teaching process all over again, they will learn more. So
Yeah.
to sit down here and say if Habakkuk again is only 3 chapters he coming with now.
Scripture also say too, and get wiser than Daniel.
Exactly.
Knowledge shall increase.
Knowledge would have increased. So if the prophets showed that diligence, the Lord only gave them enough for 3 chapters and they wrote 3 chapters. Best believe when they come back in these times,
There's 3 chapters. There's 3 chapters.
3 chapters then compared to now.
Yeah. 3 chapters now is thousands of videos.
Thousands of
Thousands. Right. Yeah. Sorry, going back to the banner. Thou was given me a banner. Sorry, thou was given a banner to them. Psalm 64. Thou hast given a banner to them that fear thee, that it may be displayed because of the truth.
Exactly.
Salah.
Right, so to go back now to the Isaiah, to understand what the banner is.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 2. Lift up a banner upon a high mountain.
And what the high mountain representative of the governments and rulership sitting in the earth, right? You could get that precept, and that was lifted thyself up. And then
Thou art lifted up.
or thou art lifted up because of thy riches.
Yeah. 20 years.
No, it's how we speak about curse. Yes. I think I Obadiah. I didn't get it Obadiah.
Listen. Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah set thyself as the evil.
Yeah, right. Obadiah 1 and 4. But yeah, true.
You come true.
Okay,
Yeah, this as well. Yeah.
right.
Obadiah chapter 1 and reading from verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Which this was a message from Obadiah concerning who?
Edom, verse 1.
Right.
That, sorry,
Which who in rulership today?
right?
Edomite Empire.
Scriptures even make mention of Esau as being the almost proud.
Right, and the daughter of Babylon, because this was written around the time of the nation of Israel going into captivity under the Babylonians. Right? Go ahead.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Right.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, mountainous regions,
Mountainous regions.
whose habitation is high.
Whose habitation is high. So the high mountain is representative of the nation of Esau, Edom. The empires that you know today, they are representative of as high mountains within the scriptures. Right? Governments, rulerships, right? Dominions. Right?
Even I think Isaiah 2. And Jerusalem shall be, or the mountain of power shall be established in the top of all the mountains, and all the nations shall flow unto it. When you read Isaiah 9, it makes mention of the government being on YAHAWASHI's shoulder. So like that government and rulership, same mountain. Right? Whose habitation is high, that Satan is hard, who shall bring me down to the ground?
So who's going to take me out of rulership?
Yeah.
Right? And it's not he's questioning, like he's pondering, like you think I could probably get out of rulership. It's a proud statement.
And like, question because it is a man he can't be there.
Exactly similar to what is stated in Revelation, the 15th chapter. Who's able to make war with the beast? Was a rhetorical statement the nations were making because they didn't believe anyone would have been able to. Similarly to Esau Edom, he doesn't believe that there's anybody who can take him out of power.
Again, to prove that, Psalms 49:11.
Psalms
Inward thought. You know is the mind of these people. In our man build the arm of these people. they truly believe that they can't be stopped. So why would they ask this question out of genuine concern? They don't genuinely think anybody could stop them. Right? There's bring me down to the ground. Right, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Right, so though you lift yourself up, though your mind, you establish yourself within your own mind as high as the eagle flies. Right.
Right? And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Right, so though you intend the rulership to even surpass that of regular men, you all aim to become God in this rulership. Right. Your aim now in this final rulership is to break the bonds which the Lord had set over man in it.
And set a government up in space.
Right, set a government in space, not just that. Become God, they're literally saying that. Right, there's come a time upon to history, right, where Noah Yuval said, there will be no more need for a phantom God within the sky. Why? Because they aim to become your God through technology, through the technocracy. Right?
Thence will I bring thee down.
Right, so at the height of this plan, right, to chip up a lot of people already, killing out a lot of the Lord's men. Right, at the height of this plan, when the Lord is coming to catch you. Job 21 and
fullness of his sufficiency.
20 and 27, 21 and 27, right, in the fullness of his sufficiency. When thou art about to fill thy belly, then the Lord shall put you what? Then the Lord shall rain it upon you, the Lord going to put you in dire straits. Job 18 and 14, thy strength shall be what? Hunger bitten. Right?
Verse 4, right, you shall bring me down. Sorry, then shall I bring you down, say the Lord,
Isaiah 13 and 2.
Isaiah 13 and 2, lift up a banner upon a high mountain.
So we exalting this doctrine unto who? The rulers of this earth. That was the intention. Right?
Same sentiment echo to John in Revelation, the 10th chapter and the final verse.
Thou shalt prophesy again before many people and nations and tongues and rulers and kings.
Revelation, the 10th chapter.
Revelation 10 and verse 11 also. I thought that's what you say actually. Revelation 10 and verse 11, and there's also what Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. Also,
Acts
the first chapter and the first 6 and 7 verse. Also, Jeremiah 1 and get that. Jeremiah 1, and I'm a favorite piece.
Their prophet unto the nation.
I'm a favorite piece that I bring all this to.
Then Jeremiah 1 and verse 5, verse 4. Then the word of YAHAWASHI came unto me, saying.
Same thing happened with Isaiah, happened with all the prophets. The word came unto them. Continue.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
Right, so he separated Jeremiah. Right.
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Right, to the end of making him a prophet to come against his nations. Right.
Then said I, ruler YAHAWASHI, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child.
I go down to verse. Oh, yeah, continue. Right, continue.
But YAHAWASHI said unto me, say not I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee.
Which is to all the nations.
And to every demographic of people.
Every demographic of
this message is for everybody.
Right.
For
salvation is only for the nation of Israel, but this message,
judgment
the
is for everybody.
you NPCs, you have to know you all are NPCs. Right?
And whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces.
But you would have right to even because it's mighty men, chieftains, captains, and nobles are going against. Right? So men who have power in the earth.
But the Lord tells to Ezekiel, I believe it's Ezekiel, I shall make thy head hard against theirs and thy face hard against theirs.
Right. So you're coming in an austere manner. Right? You're not coming to laugh and play with anybody. Right? Coming to let you know, thus says YAHAWASHI. And YAHAWASHI is the definition of austerity. Right?
For
representation. You want someone to represent austerity. Look at those two.
If you had a Pictionary, right? A picture dictionary. Just define this word by image.
Yeah, you put Revelation, because we know we're looking exactly, but you put Revelation 1 from 14, 15.
Revelation 5 is like unto a jasper and a sign.
Exactly, you put in Daniel 7 and verse 8, where the angels of the six and Daniel 7 and verse 9. Putting those precepts next to the definition in the Pictionary of austere. Right?
Verse 8.
Be not afraid of their faces,
Right.
for I'm with thee to deliver thee, say Yahawashi Mashiach.
We're not afraid of them, not due to the own might or because our straight our faces. No, we're not afraid of them because the Lord had given us full assurance. The Lord said he would protect his men. And 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst there.
Yeah, which I told him then, you will like this power to tread on scorpions and serpents, and nothing by any means shall harm you. Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Right.
Right? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The strength that the Lord has, right, is what holding me up in these last days. Right? Yeah.
Continuing, verse 9. Then Yahawashi put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And Yahawashi said unto me, Behold, I put my words in thy mouth. Verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over nations.
Right, so the prophets are actually set over nations, right? The true rulers are the nations and the prophets are Israel. Think about Daniel, right? He was made president in the time of the Medo-Persian Empire. He was the third ruler in the time of the Babylonian Empire.
Think about Joseph, only the
Joseph.
king of Egypt was ahead of him.
When the Pharaoh of Egypt was ahead of him.
And think about Moses, the Lord put Moses above the Pharaoh.
See that I have made thee a God unto Pharaoh.
And Aaron shall be thy prophet.
Right, so you see what? The Lord had set his men above the rulers of the earth. Because his men truly are the rulers of the earth. Right?
And over the kingdoms to root out and to pull down.
And in this case, we're rooting out Babylon, and Babylon is going to be pulled down. Right?
And to destroy and to throw down. And to build and to plant.
Right, and after the rooting up of this final dominion, the building up and the planting is of the new kingdom of Israel, or the refreshed kingdom of Israel being established. Will thou at this time bestow unto us the kingdom? Right? It's not in this time or that time 2,000 years ago, but it's coming upon us. We wholeheartedly believe that. Right?
6 months, 12 months,
Yes, 18 months. We're no longer looking at years in this thing. We're looking at months.
As
Right.
the Lord said, remember thy months and
Right.
Isaiah 13 and verse 2. Lift up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them.
Right,
it means true what you're lifting unto them.
Right, so we're letting you know, right, through the videos, through the street preaching, we exalted our voice unto you for you to know your judgment is at hand. Right?
Shake their hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Similarly, we spoke about it before. The prophets are often set in the gates of nobles aforetime. We think about John the Baptist and Herod. Because Herod said he didn't love to listen to John the Baptist, and he put him to death due to his wife, or I think was his daughter, you know. Someone, one of those bitches, he put her to death, or put him to death due to a command from her, right? So John the Baptist was in the courts of Herod. Daniel was in the courts of all the Babylonian kings. He was then in the courts of the Medo-Persian kings.
Like
right?
Pilate wanted Yahawashi in his court.
yeah,
Not Pilate. Herod wanted Yahawashi in his court. And what Yahawashi say? What Yahawashi say, go tell that fox, I do cast out devils and do miracles.
Right, so,
Fuck you.
so the Herod wanted to hear desirous to speak with Yahawashi, who was John, right? If you do your research into secular history, before John was cast out into the Isle of Patmos, who cast him there? Domitian. Domitian was the last ruler of the Roman, not the last ruler of the Roman Empire, but the 12th ruler of the Roman Empire. So how would John have been cast out onto the Isle of Patmos? He would have had to have been in the courts of who? Domitian, right? The prophets have always been set in the courts and in the gates of these nobles. So now we are not set there in this time, but we are set out physically, let's say it like that. We aren't set yet physically in this time, but the gates of the nobles hearing us because they see us through this means here.
Yeah, that's the big Bill Snakes.
Yeah, Bill.
Elon Tusk and them fellas, them watching these videos every day. Every day.
Gates of
talk
hell.
about it being a dreadful noise in the air.
We see scripture talk about a dreadful noise. He said, what's that dreadful noise? This prophet, these words we declare unto you.
The kingdom is finished.
The kingdom is finished. Many. Same thing, yeah. Because where was that message? Not in the gates of Belshazzar. And who had to come and declare it unto him? Not a prophet.
We did sort it out. There's a young man
Yeah,
of high
the whole account.
I would say,
That is not the full thing, but
I know, I read from
that was where he
24.
sort him out. And then when he declared the I do it up in the verse, find out when he did and the item was written on the wall.
I would say,
Right, and then find out when he was asking to the words declared.
See. Yeah, they Daniel 5 and I'll read from verse 8. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing.
Right,
No make
read 5 to 6 and then we go down to
Right, Daniel 5 and verse 5. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace.
see, saying the gates are the nobles.
Right.
Right.
And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed and his thoughts troubled him.
Right, so then he was troubled based on the visions which he saw. Right.
So that the joints of his loins were loosed and his knees smote one against another.
He began to shake in his boots. Right.
The boys drop and shaking his boots now, he's buckled.
Right.
Daniel 5 and 8. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing.
Right, so they aren't true prophets of YAHAWASHI, so they couldn't declare it unto him. Right.
Nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled.
Right, so then he was even in more trouble in his mind because he said, man, all these people I have in high esteem and high regard, the Chaldeans, if you may.
The Babylonians.
Yeah, they couldn't declare anything unto me. So what am I supposed to do now?
Nothing.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do now?
Right. And his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, his lords were astonished. Yeah. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom.
Who?
There is a man in thy kingdom
Which
in
is
whom,
a prophet.
right, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers, for as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpretation of dreams and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation.
So you had to go and get a second opinion. But this time, the second opinion is a professional opinion, which is that of our prophet, who is Daniel. Right? So you could go down now, because something is very important what we like to highlight here. Because when you read the Isaiah 13, it's to what end? The same sentiment or the same message or same MO which took place to the man who was kicked down the well in the Spartan movie 300. Right? So he was sent to let Leonidas know that we are bringing war at the doorstep. What Daniel was sent to war into
Daniel 5 and
he was sent really from the Lord. Right?
Daniel 5 and 24. Then was a part of the hand sent from him. Read from 22. Why you do that? Read from 20. Daniel 5 and 22. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart. Thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised gods of silver, and of gold, and of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And the power in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, thou hast not glorified.
Right, so you see in here, so you see in here that what the Lord is making a declaration of war. But who is the Lord's envoy? The prophets. So the Lord is making the declaration of war against the king of Babylon. And that's the same thing he's doing today. He's using his men, his prophets, to make a declaration of war against these kingdoms today. Go ahead. We close when we finish reading Daniel 5.
Then was a part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written.
And you see the Lord is a just man. He could have just go and kill him, We could have let him die without having the understanding of what was doing. We could have let him die without Daniel giving him a final rebuke. You have not humbled thyself, though you knew all of these things aforetime of what happened to your kingdom before, or what happened to your father, Nebuchadnezzar. You knew all of this, right? So the Lord could have just killed him, right? So Esau, Edom, nobody could sit and say they didn't get a warning from the Lord, even these other nations. The Lord is a just man. He uses prophets to let you know, hey, time to go.
Yeah, as he
He
said,
could have, like I said, he could have just got to know that for him.
right, as the saying in the word goes on, there's no honor among thieves.
There's no honor among-
The Lord is an honorable man. He's not going to steal your kingdom and not let you know.
And let's
Well, I mean, YAHAWASHI liken unto a thief.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that I mean.
Yeah.
He's not actually stealing anything because all of this belongs to the Lord.
He's
But
not
that
going to take it.
he's not going to take it without letting you know that he's taking it.
because you listen, the Lord is not no petty criminal. The Lord is not a petty thief. Listen, when the Lord wants something, this is kingdom talk we're speaking about here. It's kings, right? Kings, rulers.
Mighty
This is literal government speaking about getting their government houses and the kingdom of the Lord coming in. This is not no small matter. We just come in and no. This is a professional environment we in here.
Professional setting.
A
yeah.
professional setting. This is a corporate setting we in here. But the Lord is coming, sending professional envoys onto you to let you know, hey, it's time to leave the company. We taking over this business now. That's how things were done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Daniel
We
thought-
not like Esau, you them drop a bomb on you and then sanction you and say you really was doing something and we wasn't in agreement. No, we come in and do that.
No
Listen,
surprises.
yeah, no, this is a formal matter we establishing here. Right?
Daniel 5 and verse 24 then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, many tekel ufasin.
Right.
This is the interpretation of the thing. Many power had numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
Same
What
message.
is the number of years that the kingdom was about, also it was meant to rule, it's finished.
Right. So you see what that the Lord establishing that the kingdom is done. Right.
No more time.
Same thing the Lord doing today. Right.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
So you may have the desire to continue on your rule in your kingdom,
Might
but
have resources as well.
yeah,
Psalm
but
49.
you're going to be found what wanted because
won't be enough.
the Lord had already numbered it. That's why He said He numbered it first. You're found wanting because the Lord had already numbered it. You want to continue on, you're at the height of your power. Same thing. Belshazzar brought out that whole banquet and feast because he was at the height of his powers. Right? You celebrate when you're at the height of your powers. That's what Belshazzar did. Scripture talk about that. When thou art in prosperity, rejoice. But when thou art in poverty or in a straight position, consider your ways. He was not in the position to consider his ways. So he didn't want. He would literally have been found wanted. Similar to Esau Edom, they're going to be put in a position where they should have, where they're not going to want to consider the ways.
Though they should have.
Though they should have. So what the Lord is numbered the kingdom, right? Then you're going to be found wanting. Because you want to continue on, you're in a favorable position. Finally get all that you wanted. Kind of more phantom God praising in the sky, right? Yeah, we get through.
Right.
That's how Esau Edom going to be found with his pants down.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that's how it's going. You get caught with your pants down,
down, yeah.
or your hand in the cookie jar,
Yeah.
right?
Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
Right, so you understand here that at that time the Lord had used the Medes and the Persians to get rid of the Babylonian Empire. But this time He's going to use His son. But the Medes are also going to play a part. And it's the Medes and prophecy are you going to get into in the next installment of this lesson. The Medes and prophecy is really referencing the Russians. Right? So Lord will this video was edifying and that you all were edified. In closing, I'd like to say double honors unto the apostles and elders of great mercy, so surely do well. And as always, like to say shalom unto the elect.
Shalom to the elect.
Alright, this is three of your brothers, send me Heralds, YAHAWASHI, come the brothers.
But I'm Mashallah.
And then the brother Isaiah saying,
Shalom. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.